Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the hundreds and hundreds of B Taylor subscribers. Now, my voice is a little hoarse right now, guys, so bear with me. Went to a really exciting concert last night, Christian hip hop concert. Thizzle, bunch of great artists. But anyway, wanted to discuss the whole Errol Spence Jr. Keith Thurman potential fight happening. As many of you guys may know, Floyd Mayweather vacated all of his belts basically, and I believe it was all of his belts. And I know that for the WBO one that he was stripped of, that he didn't pay the sanctioning fee for. I know for that one in particular, they were talking about making a fight happen between Errol Spence Jr. and Keith Thurman on the Floyd Mayweather undercard on September 12th against presumably Andre Berto. So with that being said, just wanted to give my take on the fight and just everything else that goes along with it. Floyd, as we know, is cherry picking and not fighting the best competition. He's picking to fight Andre Berto, one of the, in terms of the elite welterweights or the guys that are known. He's probably he's not even elite. He's not even in the landscape of elite welterweights. So it's a cherry pick of cherry. It's the biggest cherry picks for a guy who's cherry picks so many people in his career. So he's picked Andre Berto, and he's using Errol Spence Jr., who's a great upcoming, rock solid prospect, to fight Keith Thurman. He's using that as a kind of a smokescreen so he can keep Thurman off of him, and for the time being keep Spence away from him. Because he's never gonna. I don't think he's ever gonna fight Spence, but the possibilities definitely won't be there if he fights Thurman. But as far as the fight itself goes, I hope this fight happens sooner rather than later, because Keith Thurman is still undefeated. Errol Spence is a hot prospect who's still undefeated. I think the win for either one of these guys would do wonders for their careers and be the biggest statements of their careers. For Keith Thurman, beating a young undefeated fighter like Errol Spence with Olympic pedigree, who many people regard as the heir apparent to become the best fighter in the welterweight division. That would be huge for him because it'd be bigger than any of his previous wins, especially as of late. He wasn't that impressive in the Colossal performance. He wasn't that impressive. Against Bundu to many people. I liked his performance against Bundu. He showed a different facet, a different level to his boxing ability, but people weren't impressed with the Bundu fight. And then Guerrero was a good fighter, but he hasn't really done a ton at 147. He's more of a 140 pounder. So that being said, for Keith, beating a guy like Errol Spence could do nothing but benefit him. For Errol Spence Jr., as sensational as he's looked, he's fought up nothing but straight tomato cans, and I stand by that. His best win, I don't even know who his best win is. He's fought a bunch of C-level fighters, D-level fighters, and he's looked great against them. And I understand you want to bring a guy up slowly and get that experience in, but if he steps up in class and fights a fringe A-level fighter in Thurman, and beats him, to go from fighting the competition he's fought then to beat Thurman, that would speak volumes about how great Spence is at this point in his career. So I hope the fight happens. Because Errol Spence Jr. is someone that, as a southpaw, has a steak knife jab, can get you out of there in a hurry, and isn't afraid to bang to the body, which is what I like in a fighter. So I would like to see him fight a guy like Thurman, who can switch to southpaw. Doesn't do it that often, but can switch to southpaw. Has boxing ability. Has a boxer puncher style. Has one punch knockout power, which nobody else has in the welterweight division. So the fight stylistically makes a ton of sense. Business wise, it may not make a ton of sense now because Errol Spence and Thurman, for that matter, are still building their names up. But for the hardcore fight fans, this is something we want to see. Errol Spence Jr. and Keith Thurman. They're definitely two of the better talents in the welterweight division. Keith Thurman has already come out though and stated that he doesn't want to fight Errol Spence right now because he's focused on fighting the top guys at 147. He wants the big fights with Amir Khan, and he'd like whoever as at the top, Sean Porter, Floyd Mayweather, that's his #1 priority. So I get it. Keith Thurman's paid his dues. He's fought some decent competition, and he wants that big fight. And right now, while Errol Spence is a hot up and coming prospect, he's not a big fight for him right now. So I get it. But if it's for a world title and you're on a Mayweather undercard, you're getting exposure, mass exposure. You're gonna fight on network television like he's been doing all year. So that's more network television exposure and added network television exposure because people are gonna tune in to watch Mayweather, so they'll tune in to watch the undercard. And then on top of that, you're gonna fight for a world title, which you have, but it wasn't really. He's not a real world champion. The WBA has all those random titles. They have the regular champion and all that random all those belts they just kind of create out of nowhere, and he kind of got handed one of those. So he knows he's not a real champion, and he wants to earn it fair and square. So with that being said, hopefully the fight happens. Errol has a long way to go before he's ever the top fighter at 147. But a win against Keith Thurman will do wonders for him. So hopefully the fight happens. I'm looking really forward to it. And I guess as far as the Mayweather fight and him fighting Berto. I'm looking forward to watching Floyd perform. But I mean, I like this. I just wish he would get in the ring against an A-level fighter. Berto's not even the best Berto anymore. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully it's a good fight and a good card if this fight between Thurman and Spence gets made. So let me know what you guys think. Keith Thurman, Errol Spence Jr., who wins, why? And yeah, just leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and we will talk some boxing.